Well, today we're thrilled to be joined by Kris Keppeler, voice actor, narrator, writer, and the creative mind behind the podcast, Does This Happen to You? Get ready for laughter, insight, and a behind the mic look at the art of storytelling. Let's dive in. This program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Well, welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is Kris Kepler. Welcome to the show, Kris.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm thrilled. I think we got a lot to talk about, so I'm going to give you the floor and let you tell us a little bit about your backstory, and we'll talk about all the exciting stuff that you're up to these days.
Okay, great. I started out as a singer, actually in junior high choir, and got bored with that. Had a chance to get into theater and the chorus, and liked that a lot better. It was more fun to dance around as a fairy than stand on a riser in a black dress. And then to get to the front of the stage, I took acting lessons, and then about 10, 15 years ago, I found voiceover, which I get to combine my acting and singing skills, and really enjoyed that. So that's been an area that I've been working in now for quite a while, narrating audiobooks, and doing lots of character stuff. Yeah.
How interesting. I got to do a little bit of voiceover work myself. So, Kris, I lived in Mexico for a year on the run from some legal troubles here in the States. And one of the jobs that I held down there was for a company called Bookmart. And what they did was they wrote English books for Spanish-speaking students. And I was the accompanying voice to go with the book work. So right now there are kids down in Mexico and around the world, Spanish-speaking, that are using my voice to learn English.
Fun.
I love it. Yeah, I often think about that moment, and I didn't do very much of it, but it's a really gratifying thing to know that people are listening to your voice. And up until that point, I never thought about it. I am a singer myself. I say I've been singing since I could talk, and as a musician still, songwriter. But finding podcasting and finding the power of just conversations and the power of our voice is really a quite gratifying thing for someone who likes to talk as much as I do.
Oh, yeah. I also discovered, podcasting too. So that was a fun way to get stories out there. My podcast, I specialize in stories that you won't hear anywhere else. Yeah.
I love it. What's the name of your podcast for all of our listeners?
Does This Happen to You?
Yeah, all the time.
Yes.
How fun. So a long background in performing arts and doing all of those things. How did you kind of find the voice acting? That's a curious, that I feel like that's a much larger jump than like singing in a choir to singing in the chorus. What was the impetus, I guess, for moving into the voice acting?
Well, I was looking for more ways to do more acting stuff and actually make some money at it. Because I don't live in an area where there's a lot of acting work. There just isn't. And so I was talking with, I think, another actor, said, well, have you ever thought about voiceover? And I'm like, no. And they said, oh, I know someone who can coach you. And so it was like, once I got started, it was love at first sight. It was like, whoa, I get to combine my acting and my singing skills. This is perfect. Yeah.
And if you have a home studio, you don't have to leave to go to work.
Nope. You just, I walk a few feet that way and there I am.
Incredible. So any notable works that some of our viewers would be familiar with?
As far as voiceover, I don't really do hardly any commercial stuff. I'm a narrator.
So you're doing audiobook versions of other people's writing?
Yeah. So I have voiced a few of my own writing projects, not very many though. Mostly I have done some I in an animated film called Losing Rose. It's part of my reel out on IMDb. And I was really proud of that because it was actually, I was working, the producer, writer, it was actually, I played her grandmother. So that was really a special project. You can see it out there. It was in a local film festival. And
you mentioned you're not around somewhere that is doing a lot of acting work and stuff like that. I'm in rural South Dakota, so I feel you there. Lord. Where are you based out of without getting too specific, Kris? We don't need your address, but
in Seattle.
Okay. Yeah. Not a ton of movies and stuff being made. Movies being shot there, but a lot of the production is done obviously in Los Angeles for these things. Maybe a little bit in New York. These days, but
I would say the most fun I had as an actor, I was cast in a local film that was actually produced out of LA. So it was a combination of a few LA actors and then mostly Washington actors. But it was, because it was produced out of LA, it was a union project. And it was released as, it's known as Seven Witches. You can definitely watch it out there. And that was just really fun because it actually had a budget. My costume was special made just for me. And we were filming in beautiful areas.
I have a heart for the Pacific Northwest, Kris. I lived out in Bend, Oregon. For a period of 2 or 3 years. But that was just kind of home base. I was floating all over. I didn't have a home per se. I had a guitar and a skateboard, and I kind of went where I pleased in whatever moment it was. So spent a little time up there around the Puget Sound, and a little too cloudy on that side of the Cascades for me. I much preferred the other side where it was open, high desert and a lot more sunshine. But
it's much sunnier. I don't mind clouds. In fact, I like the weather here. So
well, it doesn't get too hot during the summers either, when it's 100 and some degrees everywhere else out here in the Midwest and humid and
yes.
That's fantastic. So where is your time kind of split? You said you had the podcast and you're doing the narration work. Is it more narrating books and doing that kind of work and a little bit of podcasting, or is it 50-50 or kind of leaning the other way?
Actually, it's more podcasting right now because I'm working very hard. My podcast is also the main part of my YouTube channel. So I'm working hard to try to gain viewers and viewing hours to monetize my YouTube channel.
Oh, I know that game.
Which is my YouTube channels. Sorry. I'm getting over COVID.
We're just happy you're getting over it, Kris.
Yeah. I am working hard to monetize my YouTube channel, which is under my name, Kris Kepler. And I also started a Substack publication. Kris Talks About the Wisdom of Women, where I write and do some interviews. So So yeah, that's my main areas of concentration right now. Although I'm still, auditioning for audiobook work. Um, I just did a sample recording for a possible client to narrate some children's stories for them.
Can you walk us through the audition process for an audiobook and kind of where to find work like that? I think we have a lot of now podcasters that are in our circle that
Yeah.
are looking for other ways to monetize their lives as well. Picking up one of these things, and I don't know, I'm sure that the pay rate depends on the book and the project, but
Yeah.
explain the audiobook narration for us a little bit, if you could go into depth for us.
Yeah. One of the places to get started is acx.com, which is the back office for Audible. And they usually put up authors looking for auditions. So the thing with audiobooks is they match audiobooks to your voice. And so you need to know where you fit in the audiobook world, where your voice fits best. And because if you work with a coach who says that you can do any kind of audiobook, no, you can't.
Well, right. You're not going to go out and read a David Baldacci book, right? Like, probably not coming in your wheelhouse. So
no, and neither are thrillers. I just don't have that. There's a certain voice they like for thrillers. I have done horror. For some reason, my voice is not a bad match for horror. But of course, because of my rather caring sound, health and fitness, spirituality, all kinds of spirituality, children's, because I love comedy and I can narrate comedy, also comedy. So that's where I concentrate. I do most, even though I'm an actor, I do mostly nonfiction. I like nonfiction simply because I learn while I'm narrating. It's really fun to do that for me.
Well, of course, you're reading the book as you're going along, so you get to educate yourself in the process. What a great a great perk to the job there, huh?
So it's mostly looking for auditions. ACX, Authors Republic has a marketplace, and I belong to the APA Audiobook Publishers Association, and they often hold ways that you can meet producers out there that you can get on a narrator list. So I'm currently on one narrator list, and I regularly get auditions sent to me. This would be a good match. You're on our list, so please do this audition. You do a short, it's usually 5 minutes or less. They shouldn't ask you for more than 5 minutes, because any author hearing you is going to know within 5 minutes or less whether they like your voice for that book, or if the producer.
Maybe 30 seconds for some.
Maybe more like 30 seconds. Yeah. So you're out there just, trying to get on lists, or just out there looking. Like I regularly go to Authors Republic.
So for you, having a podcast is almost like putting out constant audition tapes for people to be hearing your voice and knowing that that's out there.
It is. Yeah.
Having that out as a weekly, coming out is definitely an advantage. So a great call. And I just love podcasting so much. Actually, the song you heard at the beginning here, I saw you kind of grooving out to it. That's actually one of my songs, so.
Nice. Yeah, I liked it.
Thank you very much. Well, you can find it on YouTube and Apple Music. Find us around. Starts and Ends is the name of my band. So I appreciate you. I saw you dancing there as it was playing. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm very grateful for having StreamYard now to broadcast these things on. So shout out to StreamYard. If you guys need it, you can use our affiliate link. please help us make some money. Speaking of money, what kind of money is there in narrating? If you finally get a gig and you've gone through the process of audition, obviously it varies, but what's kind of the range for some of our people that might be looking to get into this type of work?
Audiobooks actually don't pay that well. You're looking at lower range is $250 per finished hour. So actually only getting paid for the narration, not for all the editing and stuff that goes into it.
So you have to do your own editing as well?
Yeah, we have to hire someone. Yeah. I have taught myself how to do my own editing. So
yeah, well, spend a little bit of time instead of having to pay someone to do it and then just watch that $250 float away from you.
Yeah.
Typically, how long, say you have a book that's 300 pages, how many narration hours would that come out to?
It depends on the word count. 300 pages is like, wow, that's several hours. That's wow.
Are you doing mostly books that are significantly less than that then?
Usually nonfiction tends to be a little shorter than some of the longer. A book that's 20,000 words is going to take you at least 2 or 3 hours to narrate, and another at least probably 6 or so hours to edit.
So you have twice as much time essentially into the editing process. Now, of course, you can shorten that curve by getting very good at editing, and I'm sure there's AI programs out there that can assist with this stuff as well
there is.
now.
Yeah, there's a company called Positron, and they're basically AI, and you can upload your narration, and the AI goes through and says, "Oh, mistake here, change that, and so it marks it. So it makes editing go faster. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. I'm glad that we have programs out there that are making it easier to put more money back in your pocket by getting more of your time back. Because if you have more time, then you could spend more time reading and narrating what you're getting paid for rather than editing. So that's fantastic. We use AI all the time in our editing process and in a lot of things that we do. So we're kind of behind it. We get into the talk quite a bit of that. Do you think that the AI narration, which I'm sure is out there already, and will continue, do you feel like that's going to take even more away from you? Or do you feel like there's always going to be a human element to your job that AI is not going to be able to replace?
I think it's going to take some of the low rent stuff away from, narrators. The people that don't want to pay now, it's like, oh, here's a cheap way to do it. But I think at a higher level, that it will continue for someone who wants a better level of narration. Yeah.
And that's kind of what we talk about it a lot in our music scene, right? Where it is, you're never going to eliminate the human element to a lot of these things. We talk a lot about AI music, and I think it's incredible because some people who would never have a chance to express themselves musically, that maybe have some words or a feeling that's coming out of them that needs to be expressed in some way, and now they have this outlet. I think it's amazing. The commercial side of it is, nobody's making money. Spotify has already stolen all the money out of music anyway, especially in plays and streams. So what's the point? I just recently pulled off all of my content from Spotify because of their new terms, because they're just going to use all the stuff that's uploaded in there to train their AI to make you obsolete. So why would I even contribute to them doing that? I see a lot of jobs on my LinkedIn now that are looking for voice actors and musicians to train their AI. And it's like, I don't need to do that. Y'all are going to find it anyway. I don't need the money that bad. I am much more concerned about my art and name and likeness.
Yeah.
that they're not going to be able to replace. You're not going to be able to recreate this or that,
No.
right?
No.
With an artificial intelligence.
No.
Even if you can get real close, it will never
Yeah.
be that. So, well,
And
fantastic. Fantastic stuff, Kris. Thanks for some insight into a world I've never really, or at least I haven't been in for quite a while now.
Yeah. And always think with AI, it's like, why would you want to replace that human element? I think it should be used only as a tool to make things easier, not replace, yeah.
Totally. And I think that's how most creatives are starting to look at it now. I think there was a lot of trepidation early, but you see where it's come, and it's not going anywhere, right? Like the genie is out of the lamp, the toothpaste is out of the tube. It's not
Very
going back
much
in. So you might as well learn how to use these things and to use them to your greatest advantage. And it's nice to hear that people with the same take as we have on here. Kris, loved having you on here. I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I do want to give you the chance to promote your podcast again and tell everyone where they can find you if they're looking for a narrator.
Yeah. It's my podcast is Does This Happen to You? You can find it on all the major podcast platforms. And you can find it on YouTube under Kris Kepler. That's Keppeler. And I would love for you to hear these amazing stories. And also, I love to narrate your story. You can find me at kriskepler.com.
Fantastic. Well, Kris, I wish you nothing but the best health. I'm glad you're getting over it, and I hope that you ditch that nasty cough very soon. And thank you. Thank you for being part of the scene.
Thank you.